Bonjour! Today's lesson is all about the preposition à, which actually usually means the words to or at in the French language. It just depends on how it's being used. The thing that's tricky about the word à is that when you use it with certain definite articles being those forms of the word the, like le, la, le, and L apostrophe, they sometimes form a contraction. Now keep in mind what a contraction is in the English language. A contraction is when you squish two words together. Like you have the word can and you have the word not, and you squish them together and make it can't. And you get rid of a letter with an apostrophe in there, right? That can happen in French as well, specifically in this situation. When you want to say that you are going to the movies, the word to is à, the word the for something masculine like movies is le, and then the word movie theater is cinéma. There's some weird rules that happen that say that if you get those two a and le words together, that they actually form a contraction. So basically, there are 4 different ways to say the words to or at based on whether you're discussing a masculine item, a feminine item, a plural item, or something that starts with a vowel. We've talked about this before with having 4 different versions of the word the. There's 2 different versions of the word a. This should be nothing too strange to you. It's just a matter of memorizing them. So if you're talking about going to or being at a feminine place or something like that, or sorry, a masculine place or something like that, the word a would mean to, and then the word the for that masculine item or place or whatever it might be would be le. Those 2 words can never be next to each other in the French language. Every time they're next to each other, they get sucked together and they become au, au. Now, the nice thing about the feminine form, if you want to say that you're going to a feminine place, the word to is still a, the word the for a feminine place is la. You'll notice that if you want to say you're going to or you are at a feminine place, then it becomes a la, meaning there's no contraction here. A plus la equals a la seems like a pretty logical situation. So if you do find yourself saying that you're going to a feminine place, a la is the word for to you want to use. Same thing happens if you have a place that starts with a vowel. The word to is still a. The word the that you always used before a place that started with a vowel was L apostrophe, and there's no contraction with this one. So the way you say that you're going to or you are at a place that starts with a vowel is by saying a le, as in a L apostrophe. It doesn't really work well until you can blend it into the next word. The only other one that actually does have a contraction besides the masculine form of to or at is if you're going someplace plural or you're talking to somebody plural, like talking to your friends or something like that. To is still a, le is still the, but for whatever reason in the French language you can't have a and le directly right next to each other. So every time you have a and le together, they actually squeeze right together and magically change into the word au. It is pronounced o just like this one, even though it's spelled A-U-X. So again, you can either memorize the contraction or you can just memorize that, hey, if I find myself trying to write a in front of something plural, I got to change it to o. It just kind of depends on how your brain works. So that's really the basic part of this whole thing. The thing that most people end up having trouble with is keeping all of these little words straight. Let's face it, we already had several of them under our belt in the forms of indefinite and definite articles. So I'm going to have you fill in another chart, and we've got an extra column added to it now so you can kind of keep them all straight. Remember when you first started, one of the first things we learned were the words an and une. Those are the word a or and for either a masculine item or a feminine item. So if you want to talk about a movie theater, an cinéma, because it's masculine. If you want to talk about a pool, then it's une piscine, because it's feminine. Okay? If you had something that was plural, let's say that there were some parks, for example, des parcs. Park would be spelled with an S even though you don't hear it. And in the strange case, and you'll notice that this is the only set of words here that has this, that you're talking about not doing something or not going, or you have the word pas in the sentence. Remember, an and une and des can never come after pas. They always change to de. The next thing we learned about was all about the words the. The words for the are le, la, L apostrophe, and le. So if you want to talk about the movie theater instead of a movie theater, instead of saying un cinéma, you say le cinéma. If you want to talk about the pool instead of a pool, you say la piscine. If you want to talk about the parks, and I know I'm skipping here, so stick with me, instead of some parks, then you're going to say les parcs. And if you have a place that starts with a vowel, like the school, you would say l'école, because école starts with the letter E, and that is definitely a vowel sound. Again, this is all review, so it's nothing new, just kind of helping you sort your thoughts out. Now we've added this new column. So again, if you want to take it an extra step and you want to talk about going to or being at the movie theater, you would say au cinéma, because it's masculine. If you want to talk about going to or being at the pool, you would say à la piscine because it's feminine. If you want to talk about going to or being at school, you would say à l'école. And if you wanted to talk about going to or being at the parks, for example, au parc. Again, you don't hear the difference, you only see it. If you have any major questions, jot them down. Otherwise, make sure you bring these notes with you to class.